This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show. Statues and architecture are something that is very overlooked in our society. We're taught and trained to look at art, statues, things in museums, architecture, structures, architectural structures, to be these things that are creative and they come out of someone's mind and they're visionaries. But the reality of the matter is, these are all truths hidden in plain sight. A subscriber over the website Believer of Jesus Christ shared this image, which is located just outside of this temple in New York City that's getting all the headlines about having tunnels connected to it. And it's a depiction of a reptile dragging a child into the sewers. And it's located in Brooklyn, New York, which is the same borough where this supposed temple building, this synagogue of Satan building, is located. Now, the first thing we should all think of is, with this whole situation that's going on in New York, if you didn't see my previous video, you know, the one that has the mattress stain and the tunnels in the thumbnail, I highly recommend you watch it. Because I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this story. But what really should come out of this story is that you could go to every single one of these temples and likely find the same thing there. Because this is exactly why a certain group of people have been thrown out of every single country they've ever been in, because this has been exposed. Now, this is something that the mainstream media will not talk about. And if they do talk about it, they will use it to their advantage to cause it as a divisive measure or, of course, to lead you in the wrong direction. The last thing they'll ever let you know is that this runs rampant because the books that these people read teach this. So I can't go into a deeper detail or a deep dive into that topic because it's forbidden here, because this platform is completely controlled by the same people they don't want you to expose. So I want to look at this statue, though, because people see this, and now that this stuff is starting to come to light a little bit, not as much as we all hope, but a little bit, people are saying, look at this weird statue. What is this? Why is this on the grounds in Brooklyn, New York? Well, let's ask that question. Why is that there? Because somebody just labeled it art, but this is truth in plain sight. You see, Confucius and many people out there know of this saying from Confucius, that is, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. Their signs and symbols are everywhere. Everywhere. And if you actually looked at these things as what they really are, which are signs and symbols to show you what's happening, instead of looking at them as some type of art that you can't understand, then more people would wake up. You see, everything from the Statue of Liberty to the Washington Monument, all of these statues, all of these symbols of America, they're not just pagan or Egyptian. They're satanic in nature. And we look at these things as symbols of this country. And then you wonder, when you see the statue of Isis in New York, you wonder to yourself, oh, wait, it really means that? And what is going on in this country? This mystery Babylon that it is. Well, it's crumbling around us, and all these things are being revealed to us. So think of the saying, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. Then start looking around you. Like I said, the Washington Monument, 6,666 inches tall, 666 inches wide. Of course, they list it in different measurements. They want you to think it's 555 by 5,555. Those are feet. In inches, it all translates because these things are all around us. And the monument itself is an obelisk, which represents Baal's shaft. This is biblical. This is phallus worship. This stuff all ties together. So look at that statue that I just showed you that was shared on the website of a reptile eating a child. Why would that ever be put there? Why would anybody ever put that there and think it was a good idea? Are they fans of the Ninja Turtles? No, right. I mean, even the Ninja Turtle statue would make more sense. What does this have to do with anything? Well, it has to do with what happens underground. And I'm sure Brooklyn is a hub for this. Now, this specific location that's being discussed is one of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of locations around the earth that this has occurred. So they strategically and obviously deliberately put that there. And people see these things and they never think twice, right? What is this depicting? Well, it's depicting a child being eaten, okay? Being eaten. Now, there's a certain group of people, okay, throughout history who have been exposed for doing this exact thing, eating children. In fact, there happens to be a statue that you could see on your screen which goes by the name of Baby Eater, a fountain in Switzerland, home to the World Economic Forum, and Davos, of course. This statue, Baby Eater, sits in Switzerland. It's called the Child Eater Fountain. And what is this based off of? Does anybody know? Does anyone have a guess? Oh, right. It's based off of this thing called the blood ... libel. Okay? That's what it's based off of. Because this was an actual thing that's occurred. So, what that is, if you don't know, you should look it up. You could say vampirism is based off it. So all these things that are culture that are normalized, right? Everybody's into vampires. They don't know why. They're like, I'm into vampires because Johnny Depp is a vampire. Or I'm into vampires because Brad Pitt was one in a movie. That sucked, by the way. Oh, really? Why is it normalized? We don't even question these things. Why? It's just like, oh yeah, I'm a vampire for Halloween. You didn't even question Halloween in the first place, what it really is, but we won't get into that. Or nobody questions it, right? It goes back to a certain group of people. So they've put folklore around actual traditions and things that these people have done. And of course, in this country, if you ask questions about those people, well, you'll go to prison, right? At some point, at least, you'll go to prison in this country. Right now, you'll just be banned from speaking and you'll be labeled something so that nobody will ever want to talk to you or come near you because it's so mean and so hateful. So that statue right there called Baby Eater is very similar to this one. The only difference is there's a gator. There's an alligator, right? What's the thing there? Well, it looks like a little goblin. And what I've mentioned in a previous video about goblins? Who are goblins? Well, you can look for yourself at who's been depicted as goblins throughout history, right? So we can always find truths in these statues. People look at them and they're like, what is that? Oh, there's a statue in Switzerland of a thing eating a baby. The thing looks awfully like, a lot like with those, that nose, a lot like some certain group of people. Oh, wait, those people have been accused of eating babies. Oh, wait, those people are people you can't talk about. Interesting. So when a tunnel pops up like this and you see a statue like that, you shouldn't be suspicious. You should say to yourself, who allowed this statue to even be put there? And anyone out there that defends it and goes, oh, it's just art, is clueless. Now, they're using an alligator, of course, to represent a reptilian, a reptile, right? These people that become demonically possessed by consuming the flesh of a youngster, right? So much so that, I have to say the word youngster, you can't talk about these topics because this group is so much so protected. So that's a statue or a whatever you want to call it, a monument that's located right outside of there. Nobody looks at that and goes, yeah, that's a little extreme. Somebody funded this, taxpayer money funded this, and they put it there. Well, what's the meaning for it? Is the spot known for gators? No, it's not, is it? Does anybody specifically want to see this? Are people excited to see a gator eating a child? Let alone have it be a monument or a statue? If this ever happened in real life, which I'm sure it has, right? An alligator eating a child, that's pretty traumatic. It's pretty sick. It'd make anybody cringe and be very upset. But apparently we need to make a monument of it, right? So that story is out there where this is right outside of the specific location. And then when we do a deep dive, we start looking at all these statues like the one I just showed you, right? With the baby, being eaten, right? What was it called again? Oh, Baby Eater, right? The Child Eater Fountain. There's many others out there that people don't ask questions. How about this one? Baby Fighter, right? It goes by multiple names. Man Attacked by Babies, I believe, is the new name that they call it. Originally, it was Baby Fighter, right? See his fist punching little children. No big deal, right? It's a statue. Somebody put lots of money, lots of effort into this, and we allow these things out in the open because they say that it's art. And all the idiots just keep walking by going, oh, it's art. Oh, yeah, it's art. A guy punching little kids, right? I mean, look at these things. They're all around us. Baby Fighter, Baby Eater. How about when, I covered this years ago, the Vatican literally put a statue of Moloch, all-seeing eye and all, right in the middle of the Vatican, right? Nobody thought that was a big deal, did they? I guess not. Right? What else have we seen? Well, we've seen, obviously, we know they roll the Baphomet statue out all the time, but did anybody out there know that there's actually one sitting in place permanently in Birmingham, Alabama? No? Yeah. How's this for the storyteller, they call this, right? Right in the middle of a fountain where there's Baphomet reading a book and educate. I'm sure the book has a lot to do with all the genders that are out there and a lot to do with, a lot of pride in his book. I'm sure a lot of other things like racial equality, gender affirming care. I'm sure that's all in the book that That Baphomet's reading in a pond as it sits there. So you can see this art all around us. And this is what people need to be focusing on. Looking at this stuff and then figuring out why it's there, who put it there, and not taking an answer of art as an answer, right? Because that's not an answer, right? How about we can go all the way to the airport in Denver, which is probably one of the most notorious places in this country that's filled with satanic art and imagery, right? I've covered it so many times over here. Even having, for those of you that are new to all this stuff, there's literally a time capsule for the Freemasons inside of the Denver airport, telling you what the world's going to be like, and it's right in the airport, right? But you got this big horse outside, and people are like, "What is that?" Oh, that because when a lot of us talk about the horses and Revelation, things like that, people just roll their eyes like, "A horse is a horse," right? Well, this horse is called Blucifer. Well, a lot of people call it Blucifer. That's the nickname for it. 32-foot tall demonic horse statue, right? I'm sure, it's really 33 feet tall if we all actually got a measurement and measured it, but they'll tell us it's 32 because they don't want us to connect the dots with 33, right? This demonically possessed horse, the capsule inside are all those creepy posters that they hang around the airport, which have nothing to do with an airport and everything to do with the end times, and all the things that are actually happening underneath that airport, because underneath that airport is a real hub underneath that Denver airport, okay? So we see the United Nations with some of these beasts from the book of Revelation, putting these statues up, right? All of this stuff goes on right in front of our eyes. Even the Georgia Guidestones, they've gotten away with the Georgia Guidestones for so many years, right? People are like, oh yeah, finally, we're fighting back. Georgia Guidestones have been blown up. They blew them up themselves, the Georgia Guidestones. There's a time capsule under the Georgia Guidestones that had to be taken out at that specific day, at that specific time, at that specific location. So what they did, they detonated it, and they took the time capsule out, okay? That's what they did. And everybody out there was like, oh, boy, extreme white nationalists. No. No, they blew it up on purpose. There's a capsule with instructions underneath it. That's how they communicate to future generations. Do you see how it works? Right? They're all in secret societies. Obviously, some of them aren't alive anymore. Some of them are, in the metaverse or whatever else going on with their consciousness or transhuman, etc. But to relay messaging, they do it through time capsules. The Masons do. Denver Airport's got one that's ready for them to break in. Don't be surprised there's something surrounding that event. But here's one right there, the Georgia Guidestones. Somebody asked a question about how it's all about nature on there and getting the population down, and they don't realize how the climate agenda ties directly into this. They don't want you to. So it's a good thing that they're not there anymore, because then they'll just call you, anyone who's a conspiracy nut, they'll have a tough time debunking that, right? We've seen the Oculus, of course, the Phoenix Rising, right outside of One World Trade Center or the World Trade Center. And nobody ever says anything about that. No one's like, hey, what is that doing right outside of there? Is that depicting the Phoenix rising from the ashes? Like, yeah, well, and they think it means some hunky-dory, cheerful story about how we're recovering in New York. These satanic signs and symbols are everywhere. You could look no further than art. I have videos on the website, Uprising Revival, many videos about art over the years. Not just art in general, like, because we all look at art and say, oh, it's satanic or it's not. But the laundering industry, which is the art industry, okay, that's what it's there for, because you could put a price tag on anything. You could name any price you want. Nobody could dispute it. But if I sold you a stick of gum and you gave me $1 million for it, that's a suspicious purchase, right? Why do you think you see all this artwork that's being put on all these other websites where you could buy stuff? Like, I can't even say the names, but let's just throw it out there. Etsy, I got a strike for, right? Well, what do you think they use art for? Because you can't put a price on art. But if I sold a stick of gum for $1 million, $100,000, people would be suspicious. If I sold a telephone, a printer, whatever, anything, they'd be suspicious, right? But it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder, we've always been told, right? It's art. You can't put a price on art, just like you can't control the weather. But the reality is you can put a price on art. You can't control the weather, right? The price on art is whatever they're willing to pay for the child. That's just simply put, right? So anyway, I'm probably going to get a strike. I just wanted to talk about it after seeing it posted on the website, seeing an alligator eating a child and, just out in plain sight, because they're all over. I'm sure you got statues like this in your own town. And if you're on the website, this is what's great about the website, and you are listening, please post. If you have any of this stuff in your own town, this stuff fascinates me to see how they get this stuff out there, how they get away with putting it out there. So share this stuff in the website so we can make people more aware. Wherever even if it's, you don't have to give a location of your town. You could just say you live in a different town, but that's in that town or whatever. But you could share this type of stuff so people could see, hey, these monuments are all over the place, right? The most basic, most notorious ones in our country, every single one of them, like I said, the Washington Monument's probably the most known, and the Statue of Liberty, both ties to Freemasonry and the occult, satanic symbolism, just not even the dimensions of the Washington Monument, which is should be a dead giveaway in D.C. with the 666. But also the fact that it's an obelisk, right? Everyone always sees these obelisks. What do you think? They're wonderful things. They're like, oh, cool. Oh, it's just a giant stick with a point on it. All right, looks like a wiener, right? Oh, phallus worship. That's real normal to have, especially, in a country, isn't phallus worship anti-feminist too? Right? Nobody puts in an uproar about that. So not only there, again, we've seen like even CERN has the Shiva outside. So there's all over the place. They use art to depict exactly what's going on. It's a lot of truth in art. It's not actual art, but they can get away with putting this stuff right in front of your face. And like I said, it's the old quote, signs and symbols rule the world. They surely, truly do. Anyway, folks, I wanted to do a quick video on it. I hope to see more of you over on the website. Thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.